What the hell? Oh my god! That was the ultimate millennial pause. Horrible. Here you go.
KZMB All Zombie Radio.
Wow. Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Finding Found, the show in which we find things maybe that were or were not found. On an episode of NBC's hit television series Found, we are in the second season, episode 16, Missing While Witnessed, which frankly I thought would be like the movie Witness about Amish people, but it wasn't, so that was a little bit disappointing. Um but other than that, a fairly good episode. They were on a break yesterday, which is weird. Yet another break. So don't love that for this show. What's happening here? Okay. All right. Great. Got everything pulled up. Okay. So, anyway, I took last week off. I'm so sorry. So did Takeerah. I honestly don't know where she is today. I did message her earlier, but I did not get a response. I know that she was super busy and like had some personal stuff going on last week. And And so between that and some stuff I had going on with work, we just decided to delay. And we assumed we would be covering 2 episodes this week. However, they took a hiatus again for whatever reason. So, Missing While Witnessed originally aired March 20th, so last week, Thursday. I do have the numbers for you on the previous 2 episodes for ratings. It looks like it's on an upswing again. So that's cool. 2.16 for episode 15, which was entitled Missing While Seeking Asylum. And then 2.4, and this is in US viewers. Wow, US viewers in the millions. Hey Marcus, how you doing, bud? Thank you for being here. 2.4 in millions, so that's pretty good. We'll see what next week's episode entails. I do have some exciting news about that. I will wait to announce that until the end. Missing While Witnessed was, yeah, I know, India. I know the ratings are on an uptick here, which is great. Um, the episode was directed by Keisha Sharp and written by Nikita Demare. Again, Nikita and Keisha both worked in season 1. They were not a writing, directing duo yet. This was new. I think overall it went pretty well. I thought the directing was great. The writing was pretty good. Again, I have my beef with the show. One of them being taking so many breaks suddenly. But my other beef, as I often say, I do really enjoy the show. I think the acting is phenomenal. The directing is great. The writing leaves a little bit to be desired because it just is not dark enough, in my opinion. We could go darker. We could have more failure to find people or extended, like, maybe a 3-episode arc where we're really working towards finding people. It's a little too formulaic for me because it's formulaic, but not like SVU is formulaic. And this is always the reminder I give. This airs after SVU. It's late enough that you could do more in terms of like having things kind of be on an actual line, on the line, instead of everything really seeming like it's always going to be okay, because that's kind of how it comes across. Anyway, we will move on to discussing the actual episode. So, episode 16 of season 2, entitled Missing While Witnessed. Um, it starts off, I'll give you the little synopsis. Excuse me, rude. Okay, I'll give you the little synopsis. An EMT's mysterious daytime abduction leads M&A down a complex path, while Margaret grapples with past choices. Meanwhile, Trent faces a difficult decision as Heather gets tangled in a related investigation. So, Okay. Enough of that. All right. So the India says, I was just talking to a friend about this, hoping future seasons will be a bit darker and the storylines are extended. Correct. If we get a renewal, that would be my expectation. Again, we have discussed the ratings are not bad. Like this is sitting fairly high on the list for ratings. The ratings are not bad. They're not great, they're not huge, but they're not bad either. So it's like it will probably get renewed, I would guess. The weird hiati, how do you say plural of hiatus is I don't know. Um is unusual. I don't love that, but if often what they're doing is they're pairing with SVU. This is kind of becoming like their like crime drama evening, these Thursday night crime drama back to back like this block. And so it makes sense if SVU is taking a break that they also take a break, but it's a little bit unusual the scheduling. So the beginning of this episode starts off with um Heather talking to Sir. Okay. Yes, India. Yes, India. Okay. India says the beginning of this episode had me screaming and laughing because Hugh and Heather were giving off sibling vibes big time. Here's my thing with Hugh and Heather, right? Like we found out that Heather is actually counsel and we had we had always kind of thought like they're siblings. She's the sister. She's probably the one who she's helping him, like, obviously, but then all of a sudden, they kind of tried to play it like, no, that's not the case. Nothing that's happened so far has ruled it out so single-handedly that I'm like, this isn't it's not a thing. It does still feel like they're siblings. It does still feel like there's some sort of tension there. And so either here's what I'm gonna go with. Either they are siblings and that's why they're being really careful about the language that they use, or they had a falling out or haven't seen each other since they were kids, and she found Hugh, but Hugh doesn't know that it's his sister. Those are like my two theories on this. It's either or. Anyway, she's trying to get him to commit to um an interview to try to tell his side of the story. She doesn't I'm sorry. He doesn't want Hugh doesn't want to. Heather is like, my firm put money on your books, which is crazy. But maybe something that happens. I have absolutely no idea. And now he has a new single person cell, which is also crazy. How would they have that much pull? But whatever. Anyway, so he doesn't want to do that. He also doesn't want to take the plea deal. Um, the only thing he wants is Gabrielle. And what I love is that Heather's like, "Absolutely not. This obsession with Gabby is what got you here in the first place. You have to let her go." And he's like, I'm done. I'm done talking to you." Um, at trial, there's no choice. Gabby will probably be there, and so that's the belief that he's gonna be able to see her if he goes to trial, which is what he wants to do. India said, although he was the big brother, Heather, possibly Lena, she's the baby sister that don't play and possibly a bit more delusional than you, dare I say. She's crazy town at minimum. Um, so anyway, so it's like it just kind of shows that they have an interesting dynamic. Of course this is gonna go to trial because how can it not go to trial? It has to. We have to be able to extend Sir's involvement in this and also for Gabby to like have to see him because that creates tension. So of course this is the route that we're taking. Um all right. So I'm trying to think. Okay, so then Jamie meets up with Trent in a park and I have something to say about Jamie. One, all right, fine. I'm going to function under the delusion he's actually Jamie even though I never wanted to believe it and I kind of still don't. Fine. We'll work under the delusion that he is. 2, his hair is so bad. It is literally killing me to look at him. Did he go in and he was like, "Give me the Michael Sarah." like, why is it so bad? It's so bad. Why is it so far away from your forehead? I can't. Nothing about this haircut is good. It's so bad. And it physically hurts me to look at him. And honestly, Michael Cera should have just played him, like, if you were gonna do this. That's my opinion. India says, "My theory is that Heather, um, that Heather is going to use his childhood trauma and abusive mama to justify or see how his mental capacity is." I agree, that's gonna be the case. And then she also says, "I do think he is Jamie and extremely guarded, but that wig was so trash." It looks so bad. Like, I cannot deal with, like, like, height difference that we're getting. Like, who is doing this? Anyway, it's bad. If that's your real hair, I feel so sorry for you, sir. If it's a wig, somebody needs to be fired. Because it is bad. Okay, so they meet up because Jamie's wanting to come clean about what happened to him, but he cannot tell he feels like he can't tell Margaret. He's actually afraid to tell Trent because he's worried he's gonna get his kidnapper, who he has Stockholm syndrome hard because he views his kidnapper as like his mom. Um, I'm convinced it's Francine. And we got a Francine name drop this week. Um, I'm convinced it's Francine. Anyway, um, so he wants to kinda open up, but he's afraid of getting this person in trouble, so I don't know why you'd go to Trent, he's a police officer, he literally would have to arrest the person if he found out, but that's what he does. Not really sure. It's supposed to show the viewer that there's some sort of, like, personal growth that he's softening on this whole idea. India says, "I feel like Jamie is what Gabby could have been if she was captured with you for the amount of time Jamie was with his captor." Good lord. Yeah, I suppose that's why it's there to give us that parallel. Although he was so much younger than she was, but I don't know. I don't know, she was so stubborn. Would she have broken down? I also do think it is Francine. Or for some crazy reason, possibly Heather. We just love to throw Heather into the mix, you know what I mean? We just don't like her. All right. So they have this little conversation. Trent basically says, like, no, bro, you give me the deets, I'm arresting somebody. And he's like, and by the way, like the people up top, if they find out that you're back, it's out of my hands, dude. They're gonna come get you and they're gonna try to find you. And he's like, if I don't give them answers, does that make me an accessory? And he's like, bro, you are literally the victim. You were kidnapped and then brainwashed. Um Anyway, flashes over to Gabby showing up at M&A. Heather's there. She wanted to inform Gabby that there was a plea deal on the table. Gabby's like, "I really don't care. This could have been a phone call. Please don't talk to me." Heather tries to compare the two of them to each other, and she's like, "We're not alike, you and I." And anyway, Heather was just giving her an in-person heads up to say, if we go to trial, I'm asking about the farmhouse. Did you go there voluntarily? Is that true? Gabby really doesn't she, like, avoids answering the question and kind of is like, "Why did you take this case? He's horrible." And then she just kind of walks away. There's a woman at the door. Turns out her name is Wendy. Wendy witnessed a kidnapping. She does not know the man who was kidnapped or the person who did it. She has literally no details other than, "I saw it happen at this place." And so they're like, "Okay, cool. We're gonna look, I guess." Um, so they decide they're gonna take it on. They're gonna take on Wendy's case. Um, Gabby informs Margaret that Jamie did go to Trent, and Margaret's like super upset because she feels like he should tell her that. She also doesn't want to break the trust because she is very concerned that the woman who took him will become a martyr if anything goes like the wrong way, which is fair. That's a fair concern to have about it. And so she's like, I don't really want to give him any pressure. I don't really want to. So so she just kind of backs off of the whole thing. Now, Gabby's like, "Look, I'm gonna bring him in. I'm gonna like really like I'm gonna like mentor this kid basically, and I'm gonna build up trust so that hopefully he can open up to me." And we find out later in the episode she does state like you can't tell Trent everything because he's a police officer and he's obligated to report it, and maybe you don't want to tell your mom because she's very emotional over the situation, but you could tell me, and maybe that's gonna lead somewhere. India says, like, "Girl, yes, she went there voluntarily, but for books. She didn't ask to get captured for 1 year and be stalked for by her captor for the past 20 years." 100%, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do on the stand that's gonna convince people? It's fine. It's outlandish. It's a TV show. I'm sure something crazy will happen. Um, alright, so, they're trying to find, like, more information on the car. They investigate, like, a little bit with Wendy. She really doesn't have much information on what happened other than that it was on George Washington Parkway. So, then there's kind of, like, the group, like, Dawn, Lacey, Margaret, Zeke, they're all having a little chat about the fact that, "Durga, hi, hello. We've only been on for a little bit, so you really haven't missed all that much." So they're kind of having like a little side chat to talk about the fact that Sir did not take the plea. He didn't take the plea, so this case is going to court. Gabby's like, "Look, I don't have time. I don't have time for this. I don't have time or patience. Not interested. Let's just get to work." So, all right, India, before your comment leaves, let me just read it. I feel like Margaret needs to see Jamie from another perspective. I think Gabby and Jamie work because they are both victims so they can relate, but with Margaret, it is a little different. That's true. That's true. She's a victim in a way, but it's like it's very different. It's very, very different. Um, yes, this one did have a lot of twists and turns, India. I was really surprised by it, honestly, and pleasant. It was like pleasantly surprised. I was like happy with the turns. Now, I will say they did follow the formula of the person that they the person that they introduced was actually part of it. But she wasn't really, so it, like, I don't know. It was good. It was good. I wasn't, like, upset with it. It was actually really good. Alright, so they're spending their energy working on their non-case case, as Dawn calls it. So, they go get Jamie, they pull him in for the case. Um, they're kind of like there is, like, a little bit of questioning about Wendy, like, do we trust her? Do we trust her memory? She believes what she said, is what Margaret says, so they're okay with it. They need to go to the scene of the crime to try to see if they can find any evidence. So that's where they're heading is to the George Washington Parkway. Um, a weird moment between Zeke and Lacey. Zeke's like, "Lacey, come pick up my drone. Just swing by and pick it up." And she's like, "No, Don, you can go get it. Bye, right?" And then she just leaves. And it's awkward, but it's a thing. They have kissed and they have not clearly talked about it, and it was a little bit weird. Yeah, this case wasn't bad, Durga. This was a fairly good one, actually. India says, "I'm not surprised that he didn't take the plea, but Mr. Messy Boots is unraveling bit by bit. I love it. He is for real. He is not okay. He's not okay in there. He's too soft. He's too soft for that prison life." Um, yeah, it's really awkward. I have some theories on, like, why it's kind of going that way. We'll talk about it when we get to it because I wanna get to the part where she has that conversation with Margaret about it. Alright, um, so Jamie's, like, thankful that he gets brought into the investigation. They're like, "Look, you did make a difference on the last case with the sketch," which is true, he did. I don't wanna admit it, but he did. And so they're really just they, like, don't really have much to follow, so they're just taking a look at the scene of the crime. Um, okay, so, Don is like, Bro, you sure about this? My FBI contact says DNA results are still backed up. And I don't trust him. And Gabby's like, "Look, I'm willing to give him a shot. Like, let's just trust him and then like maybe he'll trust us back and we can get the information we need." And Don's like, "Or he'll use it against us," which is fair. Very, very, very fair. Durga, I'm serious. You know what? No, before you get Jamie, get his horrible hair out of here, okay? Cuz I cannot handle it personally. It makes me want to punch the screen. If his hair was better, maybe I wouldn't hate him so much. But looking at his face makes me want to hurt someone. It's so bad. It's so bad. I'm not gonna do this again. I'm not gonna I keep I keep going back to it. Okay. Him and his Michael Sarah special looking ass. Anyway, India said, "At first I didn't like Jamie in the mix, but now I like that he brings another component into the team. But I'm scared if Jamie is not Jamie, Miss Margaret is about to be a whole mess again. For real. For real." I like the I like the sketch artist kind of dynamic. It's cool. It's a little different. We don't get a ton of that. Um oh my god. Oh my god, Durga. When Gabby is when Gabby is in the back of a shack with the Phantom of the Farmhouse, she's gonna wish she hadn't trusted Jamie. Stop. You're hilarious. I love you. You're so funny. Okay. All right. So Margaret spies something with her eagle eye across the field, literally across a field. But people really are like this. Like I at first I'm like, bro, you wouldn't have been able to see that. But when I tell you that my grandfather would slam on the brakes and make a Yui and go back around the block for literally a dollar that he would see on the ground. How did he see it? I have no idea while he's driving, but he did. So there are people like this that exist in the world. Um, okay, so they find a bloody watch, which is like, what are the odds? Anyway, bloody watch at the scene of the crime. And they're like, "Well, Wendy was right about one thing. Someone's in trouble." And I was like, "Bro, you don't even know if that has to do with the crime." That watch could have been from anywhere, but I love the confidence. I love the confidence. Um, so they found at this point, Margaret is some kind of MK Ultra, can't convince me otherwise. For real. For real. Um, okay, India says, "I have this underlying theory of the ending with my friends, where since the finale is bloody, I'm betting either Trent Jr. is going to be injured, Hugh is going to lose it and make Gabby choose." Oh, I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I'm sorry. I'm just like processing. I'm just processing it. That's kind of interesting. I would be okay with that. I'd like there to be more at stake. What the hell? Oh my god. Okay, that was wild. Sorry. A giant Windows 11 ad popped up. What is happening? Um India said this dynamic of the press conference was different, especially with the social media point. I really enjoyed that part. Durga said, "Not my beautiful heavy boots." I mean, I know. I know, Durga. I know. But we need some stakes. We need some stakes to this. Give it some teeth. All right. Yeah, I know. I know, India. They need to up the ante. It's not enough. It's not enough. I mean, it's good, but it's like it's not enough. Okay, so they found some on the shoulder, they found some tire marks near the point of interest. They're examining the blood on the DNA, on the DNA, on the watch. Uh, uh There was a warranty on the watch, so they do get a name then finally. And Margaret, rounds up the press and they do social media. Oh, no, they were, like, gonna round up the press, and they're like, "No, no, no, let's just do social media, it's gonna be faster. It needs to feel personal." So, Gabby is like, "America, I need your help to save a life." It's extremely dramatic. It's extremely dramatic. I love it. I live for it. If I saw that on TikTok, I would be so invested. I would be so invested. It was like the woman who found the rolled up carpet in her house, and then the dogs came to sniff for blood, and they said that there was blood on it, and she totally fumbled that whole thing because it wasn't even exciting and, like, it wasn't great. But then another guy on TikTok recently found a body in a hoarder house that he was cleaning out, so and I'm all in on that one. So, if I was just doom scrolling at night and that popped up, I'm in. Okay, so a guard shows up at the the giant prison window that Hugh Evans has for some reason that he could, like, fully climb out of because it's massive. Um, he's like "Here's your book. My boy got an A on his paper, and so I'm now being swindled by you." I was a little bit worried that this was gonna be the person who was helping Hugh at the end, and I was like, "Too fast. Too fast to do that, too fast to do that." This guy's a guard, like, he shouldn't be, like, flipping like that. And he said, "The next scene with Hugh and the guard pissed me off, like, Mr. Hugh Joseph trying to make himself look so innocent, like, you know damn well you're not." For real, he he really tried to play wait, let me get the line right, let me get the line right. It's easy to imagine how Edmund felt, misunderstood, trapped for a crime he didn't commit. Then the guard's like, "Yeah, you're not what I expected." Like he's falling in love with him? Maybe. And and then he's like, "It's so easy for things to be misconstrued, especially in the media." He does a lot of pauses. It's like my favorite thing about him. Um, "Why do you think I didn't take the plea deal? All I ever wanted is to help Gabrielle. Even in my current predicament, it's all I care is that she's fulfilling her purpose. That's what gets me through this isolation, not unlike Edmund." What, bro? What? You stalked her for 20 years. You kidnapped her for one. You're insane. Um, and then I love it. It is so extra. I love it so much. And then the narcissistic charismatic, 100%. 100%. Then this guy is like, "Oh, poor baby Hugh, poor baby Huey. Oh, I'll give you a little taste. I'll give you a little taste of Gabby. Listen, supposedly she's doing fine. Word online, she's working a new case." And that was enough. I don't know. I was like, "Okay, bro, move on." So then they have a bunch of people come into the office to talk about what they saw. Just give me Gabby and Hugh at this point. I don't care about the missing people. Sad. Durga, but, like, legitimately, that's what I'm watching for is Gabby and Hugh. Honestly, I'm watching for Mark Paul. He's so good. He's so good in this role. It's hard to, like, take your eyes off of him when he's on screen. He's excellent. It's really what I'm watching for at this point. Um, alright, so there's a bunch of people that come into the office to, like, give their eyewitness account. I'm gonna preface this with eyewitness accounts are notoriously bad pieces of evidence. I just in real life, eyewitness accounts are garbage a lot of the time. Um, think of what you did earlier today. Can you remember it? With great detail? No. You wanna know why? Because unless you're one of those people like, Mary Lou Henning or whatever, who has, like, she has that type of memory where she can, like she has total recall of her life. She can pull any day's memory. and tell you what happened that day, which is wild. But for most people, and I learned this by listening to Serial, which is a great podcast. If you haven't listened to it, you probably should. But unless we know that something important is happening that day, like until it's like you can't remember it after the fact if it's important. Does that make sense? Your brain is not cataloging every single detail every day because it's not important information. Okay? It's why you mentally check out on your drive to work. Okay? It's not that you're actually not paying attention. You are in the moment, but your brain decided that it is so boring that it's not worth retaining. So, it's like your brain is not going to save this information. So they're notoriously inaccurate, especially when it's like a bystander. If you're like actively involved in the situation, it's going to be a little bit better, but if you're just a bystander, like you're not going to remember things. So they say things like he was shoved into a dark gray van. Um, I didn't see their face. They had long hair. Maybe it was a chick, maybe it was a guy. Um, he was cute. The guy driving. The license plate had a cool design. It was from out of state. Um, the car was small and dark brown. Like, it's like nothing's adding up. Um, India said, honestly, I need more people to stop being so amazed and charmed by Hugh. This man is emotionally stunted and with severe mommy and abandonment issues. Trigger those, and Mr. Messy Boots will crumble. Yes, it was a lot with the eyewitnesses. I was like, I can't remember all of that. No, no, it's so much information. Um, they thought maybe it was a hazing prank because it was near the college. And then they all had reasons why they couldn't stop, which is insane. But this is literally how this goes. Like, this does happen, this bystander syndrome is like, "Oh, the other people around me will call. I don't have to do it because someone else will do it." Like, that is a real mentality. So, I'm just gonna say if you do witness a crime, please do just call. Even if you're one of 5 people who called, it doesn't matter because at least it's being reported. I trust me, it's better that it be overreported than not reported at all. So, go ahead and just call. Um, alright, so yeah, so they're like, "What am I supposed to do? Cross an oncoming traffic? I was going the other way. I can't be late to work again. I couldn't stop. I had a crying baby in the back." It was just like a lot of garbage reasons to not help in a situation like that, or at least just call 911? Like, could you not have done that? I don't know. You're okay, whatever. It's fine. Okay. So, they need to look for consistency in the statements. Really, the only consistency is that the car does not have DC plates. Um, all right. So, Jamie kind of expresses that Wendy is pretty incredible for stepping up and saying something when nobody else did. They did get the match on the fingerprints on the watch, and Peter Weber is the name that they have. He's an EMT. Um, he posts on social medias for big milestones. He just moved in with his girlfriend. He has a coworker named Amy that he's pretty close with. Um, he doesn't really have family. There's an older man though that is in his pictures called Roy. Roy passed away a few weeks ago from an aneurysm, and he is survived by his son Mark Parsons. There's no mention of Peter, and there's no evidence of Peter's immediate family on his socials at all. So, they move on from that. They find out that there was a disciplinary report on him at on the hospital server, but they aren't able to get it open yet. So Zeke's going to work on hacking that, and then they're going to get the girlfriend in to talk with Lacey and Margaret, and then Don and Jamie and Gabby are going to go talk to the work wife, Amy. So during all of this, there is some like a side plot about Margaret. She's avoiding Taylor because she doesn't want to lie to her about the fact that Jamie is back. Lacey really pushes that, like, if your relationship can survive losing Jamie, it could survive him coming back. And so she really tries to push for that. Then we get a flashback of Margaret at the train station. She wants to know where the girls are. She had fallen asleep. Um, her crappy husband is like, "Oh, I took them to school." And then he's like, "Francine took them because I have to go to work." There's Francine again. And he's like, "I can't put my life on hold anymore. We have kids to feed." And and then I see, this is what I don't like. It's like you're making valid points. Sir, you are making extremely valid points. You have other kids. You should be caring for your other children. Totally get that. You also need to like go through it, what you're going through, but like I get it. You have to like kind of pick yourself up and like carry on for the sake of your other children. He proceeds to say, do you know what the moms at school are saying?" Bro, why is that your go-to? Why is that your go-to line? One, she's 100% correct for saying, "I don't care what they're saying." She should not care. She should not care at all. He's like, "They're calling you crazy for sleeping here. It's affecting our girls." Daryl, that's this crap bag's name. And she's like, "Dude, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this." Um, all right. India said, "I'm like, girl, that is a huge red flag to not tell your kids their brother's back. For real? I don't trust the ex-husband or Francine at all. Valid points, but the tone is not it." It's not. It's so rude and over the top. It's ridiculous. I absolutely despise him for it, and he continually does it. He's done it every single time, which is why I feel like he is cheating on her with Francine. Um Anyway, we find out that the girlfriend came in. She was worried about Peter because he didn't come home after his jog. Um she They show him the picture of the watch. They show her the picture of the watch, and I'm like, "Bro, it was not that covered in blood when we first saw it. It's so bloody when they show it to her." I can't. I can't. It literally killed me. It was so bloody. Um, she's like, "Yeah, that's his watch. He never takes it off. It was given to him by Roy, this guy." And she explains who Roy is to Peter. Okay. So he was Peter's neighbor when Peter was growing up, but he treated him like a son. Peter lost his mom to cancer, his dad to gambling. Roy stepped up. Roy felt like pushed him to go into the medical field, helped pay for his college. And then they're like, "Okay, well, how was Peter's relationship with Roy's actual son, Mark?" And she's like, "Not good." When Roy died, he left everything to Peter, which is crazy work, but okay. And so Mark's pissed. Peter offered to split Roy's assets with Mark, and Mark refused. And then he was like, "No, I'm going to contest the will." Because he feels like he should get all or not anything at all, I guess. So, um, anyway, then we go over to like talking to Amy, and she just saw him obviously on their shift that morning. Um, she's known him for a while, so like a little over 2 years. She was like impressed by his quality of work. She filed a disciplinary report against him that morning, and it was because she claims that he had been showing up late to work and falling asleep on the job because he was grieving. And then he ended up giving, instead of propofol to someone, he gave a kid 2 milligrams of medical grade fentanyl. Amy says, "Oh, luckily I noticed and I quickly administered naloxone to reverse the overdose, but he's been unconscious ever since. He's in the hospital in a coma." So, cool. So she reported him for that. Uh, he apologized to Greta, the patient's mom, and Greta lunged at him and like said she was gonna him if her son didn't wake up. And so that's also motive. So we've got two people with motive. Um India says, I think he cheated on her and Francine and him were about to move on and start a new life, but she couldn't have any kids, so she took Jamie possibly. And India says, I wasn't expecting the reveal and twist of Amy. Like, girl, no. It was a good reveal. This was a really good twist. I really enjoyed it. Um, okay, so I like so they go to talk to Greta and they're like, hey, um, like, is there anyone to is there anyone to like corroborate where you were? And she's like, no, I've been at the hospital all day. Jamie's like, something's off about this lady. He says the whole overprotective mom bit feels like a show. Don agrees with him. And Jamie like really doesn't let that go. At this point, Jamie's talking to Margaret and she's like zoned out. And he's like, are you listening? And she's like, I just need a minute. But that's exactly how it was when he was abducted. So, you can see why he'd be upset. So he leaves. We see a flashback then of Margaret. She meets someone named Kathy at the train station. Anyway, she accuses her of taking Jamie. And they're like, anyway, there's it's just part of they show like a clip of it and then they come back to it. Um so then Jamie's like pissed and he needs to go take a break. Margaret is like, "Hey, look, Zeke was able to get into Peter's phone data and there were some threatening messages from Roy's son, Mark. Obviously, that this is our other motive." So, Trent and Gabby pull Mark in for an interrogation. He had said some stuff about like unaliving Peter. And anyway, so he's like he's pissed. He's pissed at all the money. He's also pissed because Peter got his dad while he was alive too. It was just like he feels like he wasn't Roy didn't pay attention to him. And they're like, "Okay, so what? You came here and you want to get him out of the way so that he's not here for the Will's court hearing tomorrow?" And they're like and he's like, "No, dude. I just landed a couple hours ago. It couldn't have been me." Here was my thought on it. The lady had said one of the witnesses had said, "Can I tell you that he's cute?" And so when I saw Mark, I was like, "Ain't no way. It ain't this guy." Not based on that eyewitness testimony. It ain't him. That guy ain't cute. That was my thought on it. Um, all right. Durga says, Team Margaret, sometimes you really do need a break. And then yeah, for real. And then India's like, I swear this young guy smokes so much. Like your lungs, my dude. he's he's gonna be in rough shape. He's gonna be in rough shape. Um, all right, so Gabby's phone is ringing off the hook. She's getting a lot of texts. Wendy wants to keep checking in on Peter, which is this is where like my haunches were up at that. You know what I mean? That was really sus to me. Indy says, Son was sort of giving me a parallel of Hugh somewhat, especially with his absentee daddy and also capturing Gabby partially because he thought Gabby's dad was neglectful. Oh, yeah, there is a little bit of that. Yeah, the drinking. Yeah. Yeah, it is a parallel. It is a parallel for both Gabby and Hugh to some degree. Interesting. So, anyway, Trent's just kind of doing like a mental health check-in really on Gabby, like, how are you doing, with the plea deal? And she's like, I don't want to talk about it. And she's like, how's Heather? And he's like, I don't want to talk about that. And then Jamie is like, Jamie's like, hey, get back to the hospital ASAP. And so then Trent gets a phone call and he steps away. So like we follow Trent instead of Gabby. And it's it's Hugh. And he's calling with a gift. He says it'll help you find Peter. And then scene it cut. Um essentially. Um, anyway, oh, I'm sorry. He does hang up on him. He's like, "I don't need you. Nobody needs you." All right. So we come into quite a wild scene. It's like Jamie is aggressively accusing Greta of doing something. Um, he's like, "You did something to Peter." She's like, "Whoa, what's like, how dare you accuse me?" Um, anyway, Jamie finds out while he was smoking, he talks to a security guard. The security guard says that Greta left for a few minutes, left a few minutes after Peter did. Excuse me, and was gone for hours, even though she denied that earlier. She is drunk. She went to a bar. That's what happened. It's alcoholism. She had a rough time. What was interesting is that Jamie yells at the end, "Real moms don't need breaks," which isn't true, but I'm guessing that that is something that his kidnapper told him. So weird. Durga says I can't forget Jamie's obsession with Gabby. It's like not as showcased in this episode, but it's still there. Sneaking around, look at her desk like a weirdo. Idiot says, I like them being somewhat cordial. I need Gabby Trent back again, and to some extent. Durga says, Trent, just tell her you forgive her and you love her. Jeez, for real. And India says, this next scene, Hugh, you must be desperate or obsessed with Trent. And I need the team to be more like Trent and stop making Hugh think he can be part of this team. Like, Hugh, you are in jail. For like how the fact that he's consistently getting like insider information is driving me wild. Oh my gosh, Trent next season? What did you say about my brother? That's not a stray, that's my brother. Stop, Durga. Stop it. All right, um so anyway, we move on, right? She's just a drunk. She's just an alcoholic. It's not. It is what it is. Um so we do get another piece of information. Now Jamie slipped up on the pronoun aspect of this, so we know that he was taken by a woman, but Gabby suspects that the woman that took him couldn't have kids, and that's why she held on to him so tightly. When I tell you that I have struggled a bit with fertility, and my fear is that I will become this crazy, like, I don't I don't wanna be that crazy, and I'm hopeful that the fact that I worry about it is enough for me to never be that crazy. But I get it, the desire to have a kid, if that's really what you want, it's hard. It's hard, especially when, like, losses and other things are happening. I have said on record that, like, I don't know if I could handle more losses, like, I feel like I might need to be, like, institutionalized if that happened. I'm throwing out a lot there on the internet for people to judge me. Please don't use this in a case against me. In the future, don't use this. Um, but yeah, it's like it's really hard. It's really emotionally taxing. So I could see that. It doesn't justify what happened. It's still a crime. It's still a crime. That person should be arrested for that crime. Um, all right, India says, I'm still thinking Trent and Hugh are related. And I will be loud and wrong on that theory, but I think it would be messy and ridiculous. I would love it personally. India, I was like, Jamie was going to open up somewhat, but then Margaret came and then he got closed up and guarded again. 100%. 100%. She shuts him down the fastest. And it's like she can't see it. I don't know. I don't know. Um anyway, so yeah, they have Gabby and him have a little bit of a conversation. Um kind of trying to like push to get him to admit something. Anyway, it does go to the flashback again. Margaret is very strongly accusing Kathy of taking Jamie. And then Carrie, a woman who has like befriended Margaret, is there to help pass out flyers. And I don't know. I mean, I know that I keep saying it's Francine. I know that I've said on record several times that I think it's Francine. Something's up with Francine. However, Carrie has kind of inserted herself into Margaret's life, and I do wonder about that. But the belief is that this person knew Jamie before, and I don't know if Carrie was around before this. So I'm not 100% sure on that. Um Okay, so then Lacey and Margaret are together. I'm sorry, Lacey is in the room alone and Zeke is on the monitor. And Lacey's like, "Damn it." And Zeke's like, "What happened? Is it the case?" And she's like, "No, it's personal." It's so weird. And he's like, "Look, why are we tiptoeing around each other?" And he's like, "I know now isn't the time, but we should talk about the kiss." And then, of course, we get an update on the case. The algorithm picked up a video that someone posted online. It's a video of someone grabbing Peter and throwing them into the back of a van. Um, it does show um it corroborates what a lot of the witnesses said, and there is a Texas Titans. That doesn't sound right. I don't remember what team it is, but it's up there. I don't watch sports, so I don't know. Kathy looks sus along with Carrie as well. Yeah. Kathy really did. I think it was just her face, but it made her look suspicious. It was just that look she was giving her. I think she was just trying to exist, but she looked suspicious. India said, I think I somewhat understand why Lacey is guarded and a little awkward, but girl, use your words and talk to your man. Durga says it's time for Zeke to come out the house for real. Go get your girl. Um, so anyway, the emblem was also on a hat from one of the people who was a witness. So Owen, they're like, what's his connection to Peter? He doesn't have a connection to Peter. So anyway, they're trying to figure out like what's his connection. Um Owen recently deleted some photos from his socials, but the internet never forgets. And they find out that the connection is Amy. This was a good twist. Um Greta's son just woke up. He does wake up. He said that Amy was the one who administered the fentanyl, not Peter. So the story she told about Peter's inability to handle the job was her story, not his. And after she accidentally OD'd the patient, Peter probably threatened to write her up. She couldn't afford to lose the job, so she enlisted the help of her boyfriend. Owen was cute enough. So I was like, yep, that checks out. The twist, my jaw dropped, like, wow, is what India says. And Durga says, I want Zeke to step out of the house and go to Lacey and yell to the sky, I don't need you, sir. That is so dramatic. I would die. I love it. Um, so the thought was that either she was banking on Nathan never waking up or figured nobody would believe him because of his condition. And so they go to pick up Amy. They stop at Amy's house. And lo and behold, who is there but Wendy? Another twist. And Owen's like, Mom, don't say anything. And everyone's like, Mom. So as it turns out, Wendy is Owen's mom. And she is there for a visit. Overheard Amy trying to trap her man in some convoluted kidnapping scheme. And she said, B, I'm about to go talk to M&A, and Gabi Mosely is going to be up on your behind. And anyway, they keep telling mom to shut up, but she's like, no, I will not. Anyway, it was great. So they planned on picking up Peter while he was jogging. It was a whole thing. It looks like he has escaped. Interesting. He is on propofol, so he's messed up, can hardly move, and is no longer in the house. Yikes. So now they're looking for him. So Margaret and Lacey have a little scene here. Um Lacey's new place is, like, too far away, so she's been, like, stopping by the office a little bit more, and Margaret's like, "Well, that's the beauty of Zeke's place, right? It's close to everything," and she blushes when Zeke's name is mentioned, and so Margaret figures out that they had a little thing. Um, Lacey said that they kissed, and she's like, "It's complicated. I don't wanna lose my best friend." And she kinda moves on to talking to Taylor, and Margaret says she hadn't talked to Taylor yet. She does end up calling Taylor. She just tries to, like, kind of get away from telling her what was happening, but she says, like, "I'm just been busy. I'm sorry I missed dinner, blah, blah, blah." Anyway, Gabby is gonna shower and then get back to the search. She hears a sound in the house. She grabs a bat. She walks downstairs. Peter is in the basement in the cell, which is crazy. And there is a note that says, "You're welcome. More to come." Okay. All right. Wild. Okay. They saved Peter. He's all good. Nathan is okay. Everybody's happy except for Owen and Amy. Um, Poor good looking Owen. Beautiful and dumb, you know. He fell for it. He fell for it. Okay. So so all right. So there's a little bit of a conversation here. Um Heather shows up and is like, "Your phone does work. Why aren't you talking to me?" And it's just kind of like, okay, like, look, he broke into my house. He stole my gun. He shot you with it. Like, what is wrong? Why are you defending him? And she says that he's an asset. And if you took your personal feelings out of it, you know damn well that he would be valuable to you and the DCPD. And Trent's like, no. And then she's like, does Gabby know that he offered to give you information that could help find her missing person sooner? And he's like, see, the difference between the two of us is that you care about career and status. I care about integrity. And she's like, Gabby breaks the law all the time. True. And she's like, where's your integrity then? And she's like, you know, you're willing to put a lot on the line for Gabby, but you're not willing to put things on the line for me. And he's like, Gabby protects the innocent. You're protecting a monster. I can't be with somebody like that. It's over. Finally. We didn't like her anyway. Um, all right. Okay, wait. All right. Ooh, I'm missing comments. Oh my gosh, the comments keep coming. Hold on. Let me go to the live chat. Let me go to the live chat. Okay. All right. Okay. So India said I was like, yeah, mom, you, your son, and Amy are all going to jail. Durga says, and then Heather put him in the basement with Jamie's help during one of his disappearing acts. Amen, Durga. That's what I'm saying. And he says, I'm still confused on how he was still trying to help fix the team, quote unquote, with their own traumas and issues. I was like, who put this man into Gabby's basement? Like at this moment, Gabby moved somewhere else to get better security. Heather is delusional AF. Durga says Heather is a sister. Her one-sided competition and jealousy of Gabby is deeper than Trent. Yes, exactly. Precisely. India says, like, you really thought he is going to be picking Gabby over you? You guys just dated for a month at most. And you are defending the man that has been the boogeyman for Gabby and Lacey. Durga says, if she is Hugh's sister, think of how many times Hugh chose stalking Gabby over Heather. 100%. I fully believe that still. And nothing has been given to us that proves undeniably that that is not true. We've been given like little pieces that you're like, well, maybe, but nothing's been undeniable yet that we've received. That's evidence enough for me to not still think maybe it's possible. India says, however, Heather had the crazy eyes. Miss Thing is not going without a fight. True. 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 Um, Okay, so then they do their little welcome home, toasty toast. Peter is safe. Um, Jamie says he needs to take care of something and he'll see Margaret later. And everyone's like, well, he's telling you at least. Um, Everyone's going to go home. There are some cigarettes. They're the brand that Jamie smokes. They were found outside of Gabby's house. But why would they be there? She's like, well, either he's stalking me or he was working up the nerve to plant Peter. All the theories I come up with don't end well for him. Look, you found Peter in the basement. Jamie doesn't know about Sir. And Gabby's like, we don't know what he knows. He's a smart kid with a hell of a temper. Maybe this is him retaliating after our argument at the hospital. Um, so Don's gonna follow him. Um, but it's like they promised that they wouldn't, but it's like it's the risk is the evidence outweighs the risk, right? Like it's worth it to try to figure out what's going on with him. Um, all right, and then there is a visitor. There's a visitor coming to see Hugh. Jamie. Nice to see you, Jamie. Um, Durga says there is an animosity in the comparing with Heather. She uses Gabby as leverage. I'm sure she's done that with you before. Yeah, she does. She really seems yeah, she seems aggravated by his like constant attention to Gabrielle. And so okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. India says my theory is that Hugh abandoned his siblings to focus on Gabby and then eventually capture Gabby, and after she escaped, Hugh stopped being the protective big brother or dad figure and she resents him. The ending got me shook, but why Jamie? What's the connection between Hugh and Jamie? And Durga says, exactly, India. Gabby became his sole focus. Heather's resentful of that. She probably has similar trauma to Hugh. 100%. I believe this. I believe this. I love it. And the reason that they didn't want Christian around anymore is because he was able to get out of it. He was able to get out of his trauma, move forward, create a life for himself. And they couldn't stand that he didn't want to participate in this madness that they are both participating in. And so they axed him, which I hate because I actually think his character had a lot of potential, but it is what it is. The connection between Hugh and Jamie, I am not sure what's going on with that, but don't take it out on Gabby though. Well, I know, but crazy begets crazy, you know what I mean? Um yeah, I'm not sure of the Jamie Hugh connection. We've had theories about like we've joked about like Jamie being Heather's son and we don't really know. And he says I'm still convinced Christian is still alive, but hiding or injured somewhere. That would be cool. Maybe he was put in witness protection or something. He would come out during the trial, though, if that's the case. So if that is the case, he will come out during the trial, which would be a great season finale twist. Durga says they're going to have to let Hugh free to find Gabby when Heather and Jamie kidnap her. Love that theory. um, excuse me. I love that. India says I did see some sneak pics for next week, and it seems like Mama Bear Margaret versus Hugh Part 2 is coming. That would be great. Speaking of next week, I've got some details for you. I've actually got details for the next 3 episodes, if you can believe it. Episode 17, which airs next week, April 3rd, Thursday, will be entitled Missing While Manipulated. It will be directed by Mark Paul Gosselaar, which we knew was going to happen. There was a little notation about him directing one of the episodes. We just didn't know which one it was. So it will be episode 17. It was written by Charlie Engelhorn. That name sounds extremely familiar to me, so I do believe that Charlie has written for the show previously, but maybe I'm wrong. Yep, wrote episode 7 of season 2, Missing While Hated. Yes, very excited about that. Episode 18. Okay, if you don't want a spoiler, if you do not want a spoiler, I advise you to just turn off this episode right now. because this title is a spoiler to some degree. Now, they've fooled us before, so I don't know. But if you don't want a spoiler, go ahead and just see yourself out. We love you. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Um Oh, India says Charlie is the executive story editor, I think. Okay, cool. So episode 18 is entitled Missing Well Heather and is written by David Feige and directed by David McWhirter, which that name does not sound familiar to me, but it should because he directed episode 11 of season 2. That will air April 10th, so we are back on schedule. There's no more break. So we're back on schedule April 10th. We will receive Missing Well Heather, which I'm really looking forward to. Then episode 19 is entitled Missing Well a Casualty. Do not know who the director is, but it has been written by Troy Kelly. Which I'm wondering if he has any relation to David Kelly and Bill Kelly. David Kelly being huge television producer and Bill Kelly being the actor of the show, the captain. And that will air April 14th, which is not a week after. But because of Easter, they're going to double up. A little bit weird. Maybe that's incorrect. I'm not really sure. Don't know. Sometimes you can't trust your sources. All right. Durga said, I actually want to watch the show he was on in 2019, The Passage. It got canceled. So did Firefly after one season. I love Mark Paul. I'm going to watch it. You should. You should. I should add that to my list. I have if you haven't watched it before, I've done a show. It's like a panel show. I only did one episode because we picked another show and it was freaking horrible and nobody could get through watching it, which is why it was canceled. But um it's called Cancellation Devastation. It's a show that I did. I covered Zomboat on it the whole season. It was canceled after one season, which is unfortunate because it was hilarious, but I'll have to add The Passage to that. Okay. Okay. India says, I can't wait for Missing Well Heather. And Durga says, so Missing Well Gabby wasn't what it seemed 100% because it was the other Gabi Mosely. So we don't know if it's actually going to be Heather or just a girl named Heather. India says, well, there's another break after 219. God. Law and Order is coming in that slot of that week. So that's why 219 is coming on that Monday of 414, which is weird. And see, I'm concerned. Talked about this before. This is what they did with Firefly. This is what they did with Firefly. It did not bode well for Firefly. So I hope it's just a one-off and we go back to our regular time slot. India says, check out MPG in Pitch. It was good, and the chemistry between Mark's character and the female character was chef's kiss. Durga says, give me a break with the breaks. For real. For real. And I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to watch me play Neopets again. But I will, if you want me to. I'm pretty sure you don't want that. But I enjoyed it. I didn't go back because I'm like, I can't. I'm going to get really obsessive about this if maybe I'll play it tonight. Maybe I'll play it right now, you guys. I've been trying to avoid it because I was a little bit worried that I would get too far in. And I'm already too far into Stardew Valley right now. So I don't need to add on another one. Anyway, I'm tired of the breaks too. It's annoying. It's frustrating. It makes me concerned about the future of the show. And I'm hopeful we get renewal news soon now that there's an uptick in views again. So we'll have to see what the ratings look like for this episode next week. I do believe I got a text from Kira while we were doing this. So hold on one second. Okay. Okay. She said she's so sorry. She had to travel with the family immediately following work and they just got on their way back home right now. And so that's why she was missing tonight. Durga said we should find a game or an activity to do together. Durga, what you're saying is you did not love Neopets. You didn't like watching me play Neopets? No, it's fine. We should find something to play together. It would be more fun. Indy says, "I just feel like he was veering into Crash Out era, especially with only 5 episodes left." He's gonna have to. It's gonna up the dramatic ante, and that is something that they know how to do. Um, I will look into it. I've done Jackbox games before, they're okay. The delay doesn't matter too much because you play it live. Same thing with Yahoo Games. Like, we did talk about doing Yahoo Games, and we were, like, concerned about the delay. But if you're playing it live on the screen, even though it might be delayed on the live stream, wouldn't be too wouldn't be too much of a problem in terms of the actual game. India says, "I would love to watch you play games. I don't mind." Thank you, India. You're very sweet. I don't expect anybody to watch me play Neopets because it can't be fun to watch. I'm not I guess sometimes I do watch people play video games on YouTube. It's not as fun. It's, like, more fun to play yourself. Um, anyway, I'll work on that because 'cause we've got a couple weeks. I'm trying to figure out something that might work out well. Um, Kira did say that she would be willing to put together some found trivia for you, and that could be fun. I don't have any found based prizes. So they don't have any merch as far as I know. India says, Mark Paul did imply that Hugh might be in the era of unredeemable. Ooh, at the end of the season, so I'm nervous on how Hugh would unravel. Ooh, that's promising. All right. Um, anyway, I will see you guys next week. For the next episode, we'll be back on track. I apologize. I've been all over the place, you guys. I'm so busy and so out of it, and I've got a lot of other stuff going on. Found trivia would be super fun. I've just got a lot of stuff going on right now, and I apologize. It's kind of a busy season for me. And kind of will be until June, unfortunately. So I'm gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna keep at it, but I apologize for any delays that you might see, and I'm so sorry that I didn't get the link up earlier. Honestly slipped my mind until this morning that I was even doing this today. So sorry. I like legitimately scheduled a Facebook Marketplace pickup like 30 minutes away from my house, and I was like, "Oh, my bad. I can't do that. I'm supposed to be live on my YouTube channel." Okay, so I love you, sweet, precious, perfect little angel babies, so much. I'm so thankful for you being here. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, India. Thank you, Durga. You're my ride or dies, honestly. And I love that for you and for me. Um, hopefully Kira will be with us next week, but again, she's got a lot going on right now, so I'm not really sure. But I will be here either way to cover the next episode 217. I'm looking forward to it. I love you guys so much. And I will see you same time, same place next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on this subpar channel that's really inconsistent. But I love you guys.